New in Levridge 2025 R1 is the ability, the option to relieve inventory when the outbound scale ticket is posted rather than relieving the inventory at invoicing time. So this feature is new, and it is a feature part of the feature management piece that we need to enable if you'd like to use this new feature. So I'm going to show you how we can enable that feature. Under the modules, we are going to go down to System Administration. We're going to Feature Management, and I'm going to show all the features. You can see here you search and enable a feature called Enable Outbound Scale Ticket Sales Orders. Mine is already enabled. If it wasn't, I could click on the feature and hit the Enable button to enable that new feature. So we'll go back home. There's a couple other settings also that we wanted to look at this time. First of all, we go under Modules, Commodity Accounting, and Commodity Accounting Parameters. Under the Tickets tab, under the Outbound Tickets, there are 3 new settings that drive this new functionality. So what happens when we relieve the inventory at time of the scale ticket, or actually before invoicing, we create a sales order in the background in Dynamics 365. So we have a few options here. One is we can enable the posting on outbound scale tickets. So when you hit the post button on an outbound scale ticket, it will then relieve the inventory, and we'll see how that works here in just a little bit. You can also set it to be automatically posting, so you don't have to hit that button. So as soon as that ticket is applied, that outbound ticket is applied to the sales contract, the system will automatically post it and then thus relieve inventory. And there's also a setting when you're importing scale tickets, maybe using the Levridge document exchange feature. If that's turned on, when the outbound ticket is imported, the inventory will be relieved immediately. Let's take a look at that feature. So first of all, I want to start with, let's take a look at the outbound, the inventory for my example here of soybean meal. So I'm navigated to inventory management, inquiries and reports, and on hand. And I'm going to look at soybean meal. I'm going to apply that filter, and we can see that in inventory, and I'm going to go ahead and show a couple dimensions here, the site and the warehouse. And we can see I have 472 tons of soybean meal at my Fergus warehouse, and that's the warehouse we're going to deal with today. So let's take a look at how this functionality works. I'm going to click over to a new tab so I can keep this one open. And I'm going to create a brand new scale ticket. And that scale ticket is going to be for my soybean meal. And let's say it's going to go to Bjorkman. And we'll go to Bjorkman Land and Cattle and create. And we are going to do a truckload here, so maybe 80,000. Oops, that's a little too many. No, let's make it for. So we have 26 tons of distillers grains that we are shipping out. When I hit save on this scale ticket, I'm going to click back to the on hand tab, and notice there was 472 here, none on order. If I do a refresh on this now, you can see that 26 tons has been on order and now has been reduced from the quantity available. So the system with the setting on will reserve that inventory before it's actually relieved until you actually relieve it, which under this outbound ticket now, I can hit the post because of the setting we had on earlier. I can hit the post and it will relieve the inventory, or I could wait, apply the ticket to the contract and relieve the inventory at that point. I'm going to go ahead and hit the post button here. And the system has posted that transaction. So we're going to go ahead and move back to my on hand tab. And I'm going to hit the refresh. And remember here, I've at 472.50. I hit the refresh, and now the inventory has been relieved. So the way this happened is with this setting on, is we create a sales order in the background. So in the sales order piece, I can go ahead and take that. I'll look at the sales order in ag sales under orders, all sales orders. And we can see that they created this order down here, number 3010. And this order was created in the background to enable this new feature. So the next step, the next features I wanted to show you come when we actually invoice that outbound scale ticket. So I'm going to check to make sure we have a sales contract, and we will create a new one. Cash contract for soybean meal. There it is. To Bjorkman. For 500 tons. And we will pick the pricing from today. And $10 basis for a net price of $320. Okay, once this contract has been created, you can now apply those tickets to that contract through the outbound ticket apply. And we are going to look in our Fergus location for Bjorkman. And we're going to look for the soybean meal. And now we see this 2 scale tickets we have. I'm going to select them both and then apply it to the contract. And apply. Okay. So once those tickets are applied to the contract, now it's time for invoicing time. So I'm going to go to sales invoicing, go to shipped not invoiced. And now at the bottom, I have a long list here. And here's I have so many, I'm going to filter the list. Here we go. So you can see here are the 2 scale tickets that we are about to invoice. A couple new features here. Notice when we enable this feature that the invoice, the fees and charges is disabled up at the header. They can only be added on each individual scale tickets through the ticket charges tab. Also, when we select these 2 and hit the invoice button, generate an invoice, we have 2 new options. One of them is we've added this field for the invoice date. So today's the 15th. If I wanted it invoiced, should have been invoiced as of the 14th, I can change the invoice date and then also the due date. And then I can also, based on this setting here, is to summarize it to one invoice. So if I summarize to one invoice, I'm going to get one invoice that has 2 lines, one for each scale ticket, so that will be one invoice. Or if I don't summarize it, I'm going to get 2 separate invoices. In other words, a separate invoice for each scale ticket. I can also group based on delivery address. So if I had a group of scale tickets that had maybe 1 or 2 or 3 different addresses, the system would go ahead and create a separate invoice for each ship to or deliver to address. I'm going to go ahead and summarize the one invoice and hit OK here. And I'm going to cancel that because I would like to print the invoice. And I am not going to summarize. And let's do that. So you can see here the invoice has been generated. Um, one, one invoice per scale ticket. There was my first ticket. This is my second one. And the invoice has been created. So in 2025 R1, the ability to relieve inventory at the time the outbound scale ticket is posted has been added, and it's an optional feature that has been added and can be enabled through feature management.